first, we're going to start right off with an interview with Naperville North cross-country girls coach Dan Iverson, a 6-time state champion out of Illinois. He won the states last year in 3A, and they've been to NXN for the past 5 years. Dan, welcome to MileSplit Live. We appreciate you being here.
Yeah, thanks. It's good to be here.
So we'll start off right away. You've had 2 great stretches of action, Spartan Invitational and the First to Finish. You won both of those meets pretty handedly. Have you met your expectations at this point in the season, or have you gone beyond them at this point?
Well, I think we've at least met them. I mean, I think we've kind of been on the high side of what we thought we would be able to do at this point. But it's early, and so it's always hard to gauge too much off the first couple of weeks. But certainly, we feel like we've set up a schedule intended to test us against the best we can find, and so far so good.
So last year at state, you knocked off five-time state champion Yorkville, won a state title in Illinois, and now I got to ask you, who's the better team this year, Naperville North or Yorkville?
Well, we beat them Saturday. So, at the moment, I'd say we're probably, have them at this point. But, Yorkville's a great program. Their coach does some wonderful things. They're actually not too far away from us. We know them well. We'll see them a lot. And they're an excellent team. And so we obviously had the edge on them on Saturday. But, you know what, at the end of the day, nothing would shock me with them. I think they'll run very well when it counts, and I think they'll be there when we go off to Nike regionals as well. So we'll there'll be a series of pretty good battles throughout the rest of the year, I think.
In your mind, what's more important, winning a state title in Illinois or qualifying for NXN and really podiuming up at NXN?
Oh boy, that's a good question. And my opinion on that has changed over my career. I mean, I've been at North for 24 years, obviously a lot longer than NXN's been around. But, I think the importance of NXN as a program has risen a lot. I think I would be hard-pressed to put it above going to NXN in general. But I think if you asked our top 7 to 10 runners, I think that going to NXN is a pretty big deal to them. So I'm not giving you like a specific one or the other answer. They're both obviously extremely important, but definitely the idea of going out to Portland has risen in prominence in the program, and it's definitely something the kids talk about right along with winning a state championship. And additionally, actually, because Nike has the open races at the regional, we actually bring the whole team to the open race. So we've got a huge contingent of kids in the open race. And that's actually become a really big deal because obviously only 7 kids get to run our state meet, but we got, 50 or 60 kids that can run the Nike regional. And so we keep them all around and engaged all the way through the process. And that's kind of cool too. So I guess I would say it's kind of now part of the same process.
You're a 5-time NXN the last 5 years you qualified for NXN. You've had some great runners in Naperville North, including Judy Pendergrast, who just
Right.
transferred to Oregon from Harvard. But your low stick this year, Sarah Schmidt, who's gone 16:50 at 3 miles already, 17:49 at the 5K. Where does she stack up in terms of your athletes? And what do you think she's capable of? Judy broke 16 minutes as a senior. Do you think Sarah's capable of doing that?
Sarah's probably not there, but she. I would be hard pressed to find another runner that has been, with us that I could say is better. So, and looking at workout times and comparing those, and again, it's probably unfair to do that to compare to Judy 2 years ago. But, see what last week, Sarah was 3 seconds off of Judy's course record in Iowa at the Crow Creek Park course. And now, there were 2 different days. 2 years ago was a pretty warm day and we ran in pretty good conditions 2 weeks ago or a week ago. But, but Sarah's in the ballpark, to where Judy was, but Judy's definitely her times definitely exceed that where Sarah's at. But at the same time, Sarah's really, really running well. And she's definitely more than holding her own as a number 1 runner for us at the moment.
Yeah, you're quoted as saying your team are all-weather women in Illinois. Obviously, the weather there is really unpredictable. But
Right.
what do you think is like the magic dust when it comes to Naperville North over the last few years? I mean, you started here in 1996, so what's been sort of the theme of Naperville North? Why are you so good, and what makes you guys so good?
Well, you know what? We try to build a whole program. You know, I think about this a lot, and I've said it a lot, but I think it's true that I actually dislike losing at the JV or the fresh soft level almost more than I do at the varsity level, because I kind of figured that your talent at the varsity level is going to be sort of fluid relative to other teams. It's going to come and go a little bit. But if you've got consistently very, very good JV and fresh soft teams, that your whole program will always be competitive. And that's kind of the mantra we've gone with, is that we want all the kids, and we've got right now, I think, about 85 kids on the team, and we want all 85 kids understanding their role in the process. So that means we got kids that are running 30 minutes for 3 miles, but they're trying really hard to run 29 minutes for 3 miles, and so I really believe that makes a difference. I think that that's a programmatic aspect that we have that I think is powerful, so that the 7 left on the line at state or at Nike Nationals can consider themselves part of something much larger than themselves. And I think that's a really important part of where we're at. And I think we do get that buy-in on a regular basis.
You already mentioned how Yorkville is one of your top competitors in the state. Right. NXR Midwest obviously is a really competitive field. How confident are you that you're going to get out of that region at NXN and really get another bid to that national meet?
Well, you know what? I mean, I keep thinking, we've gone 5 years in a row. Nike Nationals, it would be easy, and I keep having to tell the girls, because I mean, there's no one on our team, not our seniors, have ever experienced a year in which we did not go to Nike Nationals, and I have to keep telling them that 22 teams go. That means that's a tiny, tiny, tiny fraction of the percentage of teams in the United States go every year, and we've just been fortunate enough the last 4 years to be one of those teams. We should never, ever take it for granted, and we do not this year. I mean, it is a big deal, and we appreciate the fact it's a big deal. Are we confident we can make it? Sure, of course, we're confident we can make it, but we're definitely, I think the bigger question for us is, are we confident we're going to run well at Nike Regionals? And I think we will. I really believe 100% that we're going to run well at Nike Regionals. And if that's good enough to make it Nationals, then we're going to take that. If it's not good enough to make Nationals, we'll be able to live with that too. But ultimately, I think the focus just needs to be on what we can control here.
So, Dan, I don't know if you know, but we have your team as a top 16 team in the nation, according to MileSplit. Tony Jones out in Illinois has you as the #1 rated team in 3A. Can you make a case for Naperville North being a top 10 team in the nation this year?
Well, I tell you what. I mean, we've been as high as 4th at Nationals. We were there in 2014. We were 10th last year. We're a better team right now than we were last year at this time, by a lot, actually. And so just by that measure alone, obviously that's not an entirely fair measure, because there's other good teams out there, and the years change from time to time. But at the end of the day, we don't have just one nationally capable low stick. We've got 2. I mean, Alex Morris is not too far behind Sarah, and so I think that gives us a pretty powerful one too. I think we still need to get some work to do, in trying to ratchet down that top 5 split and get that a little bit closer. But I think we definitely possess the potential to be every bit that good. And quite frankly, right now, this team is about as good as we've ever seen. Just looking at kind of where we're at, on September 11th. Looking at workouts, looking at how we performed on courses similar to this in years past. This is every bit as good a team as the teams that have finished in the top 10 before. So I guess that would be the most direct case to be made for us to be a top 10 team at the moment. But obviously, you know what? They don't give out much for being a top 10 team in September either. So whether we're top 10 now or is less of an issue than whether or not we're top 10 in November and then in December.
All right. Well, I'm sure we will hear from you in the coming months. Naperville North is going to be in the general conscious when we talk about cross country. Thank you for being on our show, Dan. We really appreciate it. Best of luck moving forward in your season. Yep. Thanks, Coach.
Yeah, thanks so much. I really appreciate it.
All right.